As Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting Canada to participate in the G7 Leaders Summit hosted in Kananaskis, members of the Indian diaspora across the North American nation have extended a warm welcome and expressed hope for a renewed chapter in India-Canada relations. Let's listen in.
As Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives here in Canada, there is visible excitement in the Indian diaspora. Also, there is optimism about the meeting between Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Carney, given that the relationship between India and Canada in the past couple of years wasn't at its best. The diaspora says they are pinning hopes on that meeting between Carney and Modi to see an upswing in the relationship. I have with me Harish Consul. He's a prominent member of the Indian diaspora.
At present, we are getting you visuals from Calgary. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as we told you, has arrived in Calgary a short while ago. And here we see him being received at the Calgary airport, Canada. The Prime Minister will be participating in the G7 summit to be held at Kananaskis. And here we see, after concluding his two-day visit to Cyprus, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived in Calgary, Canada. And these are the visuals we're getting for you from Calgary. Our correspondent Amritpal Singh is there with us to get us more details. Amrit, on our screens, we show Prime Minister being received at the Calgary airport. Get us more. What does the day ahead for him in Calgary looks like?
A little while back, the Prime Minister has just left the airport. The Federal Minister for Economic Development, the Canadian Federal Minister for Economic Development, was there to receive him, along with a provincial minister of the Alberta province, Calgary, where the Prime Minister landed, and also Kananaskis, where the summit is taking place, is in the Alberta province. So the provincial minister was there. Raj Taliwal, the councillor of the city of Calgary, was there to receive him. The city chiefs of the indigenous people were there to receive him, along with, of course, the acting High Commissioner of India to Canada, as is part of the protocol, were there to receive the Prime Minister. As I said, the Prime Minister has just left for his hotel in Calgary. The Prime Minister will be staying in Calgary. Now it's late evening here. So the Prime Minister will fly to, take a chopper ride to Kananaskis, which is about 100-odd kilometers from Calgary tomorrow morning. That would be, given the time difference of 11.5 hours, whatever time in India. So the Prime Minister will be engaging in there will be a group photograph with the outreach countries of and the G7 members. Just an important update: Donald Trump has left the G7 summit. He's just left the G7 summit and returned back to the United States. So minus Donald Trump, we see the family photograph tomorrow morning, and then they go into the working session of the outreach summit, where the Prime Minister shall be making his intervention. As we were speaking a little while back, various issues ranging from energy security to counterterrorism to the use of AI technology, the energy security, quantum to advance economic development, and putting the issues of the global south right at the heart of the conversations in Kananaskis is what the Prime Minister is likely to intervene upon. He has bilateral meetings lined up with at least 5 leaders. There could be pull-asides, but they are unplanned pull-asides right now. But right now, we do know that the Prime Minister shall be holding that important meeting with Mark Carney, the Canadian Prime Minister, and that is an important meeting, given that could possibly be an opportunity for reset of Indo-Canadian ties. Then he's meeting the German Chancellor. He's meeting Giorgia Meloni. He's meeting President Zelensky of Ukraine, who's a special invitee here at the G7 summit. So he's meeting, these leaders tomorrow. He's meeting the Mexican Prime Minister, Claudia Sheinbaum. Where, as I said, issues related to the global south, the global supply chain disruptions, cooperation between countries in specific sectors will come up during these bilateral meetings. And tomorrow evening, the Prime Minister departs for the next leg of his visit to Croatia. Preeti.
All right, Amrit. Now, this will be India's 12th participation at the G7 summit and Prime Minister Modi's 6th in the outreach session. When we talk of the G7 summit, for the benefit of our viewers, explain to us what is an outreach session in a G7 summit, and when you're specifically talking of India's participation, what do we look forward to?
Okay, G7 is a group of 7 most advanced economies of the world, which are primarily Western powers: the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Japan. So these are countries who are part of France, Italy. They form a part of the G7. So the G7 summit kicked off yesterday here. What happens tomorrow, that is on the 17th, what happens is there are outreach members who are invited. They've been invited for a long time now. These are generally developing countries from Africa and Asia. This time around, the countries invited include India, Mexico, South Africa, Australia. So these countries have been invited to participate, Brazil, to participate in the outreach session. You could say that these countries are primarily, if you leave Australia possibly out, these are countries from the global south. But these are important economies, important emerging economies. Now, you asked me, what does it mean when it comes to India's participation? Given the size of your economy, given the size of your population, given the size of your market, you're the 4th largest economy in the world today, and you're the fastest growing emerging economy. So the world can no longer afford to ignore you. So that is why you are invited to these summits, because primarily G7 started as an economic grouping, though it's later broadened into a political grouping which looks at important issues affecting the world today. So India, given that India, from an economic point of view, from a strategic point of view, its strategic importance, its stature in the world arena, it's emerging as a voice of the global south, it cannot be ignored. Preeti, let me tell you, when Mark Carney took that decision to invite Prime Minister Modi, there was a great opposition in Canada that he faced because of the strained diplomatic ties. Now, Carney's response to that was that India just cannot be ignored given the global supply disruptions and its stature. So that is what it really is about. And that is why India has been consistently invited as an outreach country where the developed world sits with the developing world and asks them what your concerns are and factors that into solving the problems, the pressing issues facing the world now, because most of the world's population lives in these countries. Look at the size of these countries, Brazil, India. So, in that sense, these countries are countries which impact the decisions taken by the advanced world also. Preeti?
All right, Amrit, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for joining in with those details. So that was our correspondent Amritpal Singh telling us about what is to be expected during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's participation in the outreach session of the G7 summit. We'll keep you updated as Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting Canada to participate in the G7 Leaders Summit hosted in Kananaskis. Members of the Indian diaspora across the North American nation have extended a warm welcome and also expressed hope for a renewed chapter in India-Canada relations. Let's listen in.
As Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrives here in Canada, there is visible excitement in the Indian diaspora. Also, there is optimism about the meeting between Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Carney, given that the relationship between India and Canada in the past couple of years wasn't at its best. The diaspora says they are pinning hopes on that meeting between Carney and Modi to see an upswing in the relationship. I have with me Harish Consul. He's a prominent member of the Indian diaspora here. He's CEO of Okro Group. Hi Harish, thank you for speaking to us. How do you see this meeting, and how do you see what kind of opportunity do you see in the relationship going on an upswing?
We're very excited about Prime Minister Modi's arrival. You know, it's been some recent sensitive news, but there's never been a better opportunity for us to remend, grow together. India is the 4th largest economy now, fastest growing. Alberta in particular is the fastest growing region in North America. There's so many opportunities together in tech and innovation and energy and security and ag tech. So we're very excited. The entire community, bahut khush hai.
Canada is looking for a partner, especially I can speak for Alberta, because the Premier of Alberta has opened up a Alberta-India trade corridor, which is going to talk about business. Right now we do $188 billion of business with the United States and just around about $500 million with India. So we want to triple our business with India.
This invitation has opened a big room for both the countries to work together, prosper together, and definitely it will improve the bilateral ties. Yeah. So I agree that it is going to make a big difference.
We both are one of the largest democracies in the world. India is going to be a $10 trillion economy. Canada is already an advanced economy. There is a lot of scope for our cooperation in the green energy, in the IT sector, in the quantum mechanics, in the space exploration. Opportunities are innumerable.
So I'm very much hopeful that this time ties between India and Canada is going to be more stronger. Our bilateral relations is going to be more stronger, and we're going to be having a lot of business within these two countries. Because if you see in last 10 years, a lot of Indian people, they are flying to Canada, they are migrating here, and it is very important to have the better relationship between these two countries.
So this is the sentiment in Canada on the eve of that crucial meeting between Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Carney. The expectation is that this crucial meeting could well prove to be the beginning of a reset in Indo-Canadian ties. With cameraman N.A. Sivakumar, this is Amrit Pal Singh for DD India in Alberta, Canada.